Hi, and welcome to episode I wrote it down here, 437 of Albuquerque Real Estate Talk with Tigo and Tracy Venturi, Venturi Realty Group. And how can people reach us, Tracy?
Hey, give us a call, 448-8888. We'd love to chat with you. You can call anytime, and hopefully one of us can pick it up.
Hopefully.
Well, I was thinking about the middle of the night. You're going to get our voicemail.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That is true. We appreciate everybody that listens. I get a lot of feedback. I hear, just out and about, when I'm out and about, I hear people saying, "Hey, caught your show. It's good. You always give me good information." And we appreciate it. We enjoy doing this. Been doing it obviously a long time now, and talking about the real estate market. And this week, Tracy, I've got the latest February data from the Albuquerque MLS, what happened in February. I also have some data on the year over year numbers that came out from FHFA, which tracks true home price appreciation. So we can talk about that.
Wait, and I have my normal, just throw stuff out there based on what I feel in the market without any data to support it.
Exactly.
So I'm happy to throw that in again.
Exactly. Well, and we had that conversation a week or so ago where I was like, the demand has slowed down. And and if you look at the data, buyer demand has slowed down. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But you say
buyer demand is very strong. There are a lot of buyers looking for homes right now, and maybe numbers are down because there just aren't enough homes for them to buy.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
There you go. So I'm going to go right into my non-stats.
Okay.
So we saw just gorgeous, beautiful weather, right? We've had this huge shift in the last week and a half, right? Snow to rain to gorgeous 70-degree sunny days. And you know what happens in March when we get those gorgeous sunny days, sunny, warm days that makes it feel like spring has sprung?
Yeah.
Is people come out in droves ready to buy a house. And we have seen an uptick this week in people contacting us ready to think about starting their home search. So that's my non-stat.
And just we're talking about this week. When you're listening, depends when you're listening, but we're on March 11th, 2023 right now. So really the spring, as we say, buying season, selling season in real estate has started.
Right. And we have spring breaks coming up. We see a lot of activity then. If you're thinking of selling a house, we should be talking.
For the last 2 months, Tracy, we've been saying, if you're thinking of selling, get ready now because it's coming up quick. And I actually pulled up the data last night because I don't remember what made me think about it. I was probably reading some tweet or something from a housing person and talking about the spring and how much activity there is in the spring versus, other times of year. And if you look at the Albuquerque market, it's absolutely pending sales, March, April, May, busiest month of the whole year. So
every year for years and years and years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except for 2020.
Well, that was a little abnormal.
Yes.
We were fairly shut down.
Fairly.
So Tigo, do you have some market updates, like real numbers for us?
And if you're catching us on video, I'm going to pull up the charts here and show you what we're seeing. So what I'm going to talk about is February 2023 home sales in the greater Albuquerque area. These are homes that have sold, and just some of the stats on that. The number of homes selling, we're at 669.
Closed in February.
That's a pretty low number. If you go back years and years, as average, every month is somewhere 1,100-1,200. So it's definitely down. That's down 14% from last year, and last year was down 20% from the year before. So the number of homes selling is definitely down. There's just not as many transactions happening. There's no doubt about it. And if we look at it by different price ranges, the place that's taken the biggest hit is I've got this broken down by like under 250,000. That's gone down the most, about 20% from last year. And part of that, there just isn't a lot of $250,000 homes to buy in Albuquerque area these days.
Right.
So, and to be clear, we're talking about Metro Albuquerque. We're talking about the whole greater Albuquerque area.
That would include Sandoval County, Valencia County, Bernalillo County, Placitas to Belen to Moriarty to Rio Rancho, kind of the whole metro.
Yeah. So the next thing is the number of homes for sale. It's just like so many statistics. If you say it this way, the number of home for sales up 35% from last year.
That's shocking. Up 35% over last year.
Yeah. Which which is good news for home buyers compared to last year. Of course, the bad news for home buyers this year is they have 7% mortgages, not 3.5% or 4% mortgages. So, I
But
know you don't want me to
historically,
you don't like me bringing that up, but go ahead.
historically, that's still a great interest rate
Yeah,
and
yeah,
still
yeah.
better than renting typically.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And I pulled up some rent data too, but pending sales, either the people that have put a home under contract to purchase in February, it was 822, so actually ahead of the closed sales. So we are seeing an uptick in activity. So people are putting homes under contract,
Like
like
those buyers are out there, like I was telling you.
like Tracy said.
The feet on the street says,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And the big data point that I've been tracking now is new listings, people putting their homes on the market to sell. And that number is down. If we look at February versus February, it's down 21%. And that's a pretty big difference because last year was down and the year before that was down. So we do see this trend line of just people aren't selling their homes as often. They're not moving as often. We're not seeing as much turnover, which has, I'm going to say it, even though demand is down, supply is still very low because we just don't have a lot of replenishing of new supply, basically new homes coming on the market. I know you're going to say demand is strong, and it is relatively, right? Compared,
It's strong.
yeah, yeah. And then, the last thing that, of course, everybody really wants to understand is prices. So home prices, I'll just do February versus February. The median price per square foot, which is my favorite measure of price appreciation or depreciation, up 6% from February last year. Um, like I've been saying, home prices peaked in May last year. They pulled all the way back into January, and now they ticked up again in February. It's exactly what I've been predicting based on what homes were listed for last month. And so the trend right now is that home prices do appear to be moving up. And I don't see anything that's going to change that except maybe 10% mortgage rates.
Yeah. Which I've seen in the news that they might still be going up.
Well, I'll say it this way. If you want to find evidence that, mortgage rates are going to be up at 9% by the end of the year, you can find it. You can find somebody that wrote a story that says that. If you want evidence that mortgage rates are going to go down to 5%, you can find that too. Right. So I don't know. I'm more in the camp that mortgage rates will probably be pulling back, especially what happened on, just Friday when
The jobs
report. And I don't want to get all wonky on that, but go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, what does that mean that they're going to be pulling back? What does pulling back mean? You mean they're going to be coming down a little bit?
The
over time here.
The smart people that look at this, that really understand how mortgage-backed securities work and how that whole bond market works, feel like mortgage rates are going to probably come down in May.
Okay, let's move on.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. So, and that's not a reason for somebody to wait, right? Because what's going to happen between now and May is home prices are going to keep going up, is the way it looks to me.
Right. And interest rates change intraday, right? So they could be different from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and they fluctuate. And that's where a great local lender comes in to tell you, hey, tomorrow the jobs report is coming out or whatever that is. And we're expecting rates to go up. You've got a house under contract. Today's the day we should lock your interest rate.
You bring up a really good point that I think I just want to hit on.
Thank you.
Well, it's that there's so much volatility. There's more volatility. Anybody that's a lender that's listening to this in the mortgage business, they know this. The mortgage market volatility has been as high as it's ever been. And that's part of the reason that mortgage rates are higher than they should be.
Could be
because there's so much volatility that anybody making mortgages, they have to basically hedge their mortgage rate a little bit to just protect against all this volatility in the mortgage market right now. So a little bit of settling down in the mortgage rate or in the economy, and a little bit of settling down in inflation would make a big difference.
What what really I know our listeners always want to hear is, what is the median sales price? What was it?
Well, that's a good point. Median sale price, greater Albuquerque area, all single family homes, attached and detached, lump them all together. Mid range is 317,000. Okay, so that's
Median.
That's up 3.5% from last year. Now I'm going to bring up one other chart again. If you're watching online, you can see these. I've been kind of going through them, but I'm going to pull up the FHFA data. In this, okay, we're going to back up. We're not talking about February anymore. Now we're talking about year over year home price appreciation from FHFA, which is Fannie and Freddie, that tracks, all those mortgages in the entire country. And they have Albuquerque from quarter four. I got to say this right because I said it wrong in my YouTube video I did the other day. From quarter four of 2021 to quarter four of 2022, home prices in Albuquerque appreciated 11.8%.
And historically, we used to say on our radio show that they would go up somewhere in the 3 to 4% a year range, historically over 60 years when you look back.
That's exactly right.
3 to 4%. So that's almost 12% from December 2021 to December 2022.
The one thing that's interesting, and I think a good trend in this data, is it went from 13% year over year in quarter three to 12% in quarter four. So the rate of appreciation has slowed down. It's still really higher than what we need. And come quarter one versus quarter one, it's going to be interesting to see. But at this point, year over year, home prices continue to increase in Albuquerque. That's the short of it.
So Tigo, I know we don't have a chart for this, and this wasn't on the agenda. Let me
I might have a chart for that.
Well, you don't know what I'm about to say. I'm thinking about, 11.8% 1 year appreciation, but I'm thinking about all those 10 or 12 years from 2007 to 2007 to 2017, where things didn't go up 4% a year. Still probably not even caught up to the trend line of where we would be had we not had that huge drop. So it's kind of like we're just catching up with where the natural trend line would be. Pretty close.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
We're above the trend line.
Great. Okay.
And that's for a lot of reasons. And that kind of segues into this, this bigger conversation about housing in Albuquerque, and that the city of Albuquerque is doing this whole Housing Forward program, and they're doing a lot of stuff to help with the housing shortage. I mean, the city recognizes that we have a housing shortage in Albuquerque. We're not talking just single family houses that you can purchase. We're talking about rental units as well. And there's been a lot of legislation, both at the state level and the city level, to try to deal with, things like rent control and different ways to help. But it's basic supply and demand. We just don't have enough seats on the bus for people.
Yeah. And for people that are looking to buy a home, I'm thinking about the bullet points of, should I be buying a home this spring, right?
So Tracy, about 3-4 months ago, I was on a panel talking to hundreds of realtors and talking about the real estate market. And I said, and at that time, 3 or 4 months ago, it was pretty ugly out there. It felt like the market was going to have a problem. And I said, come spring, we are going to be bidding wars again. It's going to be crazy busy. Buyers are going to have to be ready. And I had a lot of sideways looks, but
we've already seen it.
I think I'm proven right here.
We're seeing multiple offers. The feet on the street, the buyers are out there and they're competing.
Yeah.
And we are seeing, at list price or above list price offers for a lot of the properties coming on the market, and very often more than one offer. And that's where my story comes in.
So I want to just go to that because it's important. In this big conversation about the real estate market and what's going on, there's the one thing that's the big variable that can mess everything up, and that is the interest rates, right? Interest rates are, like I said, very volatile, and if they go up, that could change things. But right now, every indication is that home prices are going to continue to go up, and that competition for good homes priced to the market, that are ready to sell is going to be there.
Right.
So Tracy, we were looking in a neighborhood the other day, and we were comparing. It's like, okay, there's 6 homes in this area that are either pending or active, right? And
this was in like New Holiday Park in the
yeah.
Northeast Heights, Albuquerque 87111.
And I think it illustrates this whole idea that there is definitely a price ceiling that people have, especially with 7%, 7.5% mortgage rates. And so anyway,
we were looking because there was an opportunity we were looking at, and an off-market house. And so we were comparing what was going on in that neighborhood. And there were 3 houses actively for sale and 3 in pending sale. And the 3 that are actively for sale were all about 100,000 more than the 3 that were in pending. And so it was, really clear that the demand for that lower priced house, they were selling quickly. And of the 3 on the market, 2 of them were fairly new on the market, but one had been on the market since December, and they were taking price reductions to chase the market to get in the right range. And they were still out there for sale.
Yeah. I just thought it just made me think about something. I go to the chart here, and median days on market for homes under 250,000 that closed in February was 10 days. That means that half of those homes, 250 and less, sold in 10 days. The average, when we look at across all price ranges, it was 18 days. So, there's no doubt it's price. Lower price homes have a lot of demand. Higher price homes actually still have demand. Even, homes over $600,000, on median, at least the ones that sold, was 22 days.
Yeah. We are seeing, though, that the higher price range, I believe, is slowing a little. I bet you have a stat for days on market over 750.
Not handy, but yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll look at that.
Yeah. So I think the real kick to people that are wanting to buy this spring is they need to be ready. We had this conversation the last 2 years in spring, and I think we have to have it again, is that you need to be ready as a buyer.
Right. Which leads me to my 4 bullet points, right? Been a lot of stories this week about planning to buy a home in the spring, right? And that things are more balanced than they were at the height of the pandemic, and people buying and the very low interest rates, but it's still a seller's market because of all the things we've talked about this morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's just not enough inventory for everybody, which makes there's more buyers than there are sellers.
Simple supply and demand.
Yeah. That economics class I was never very good at, but I understand that. So some of the things as a home buyer is having a great real estate professional supporting your goals, right? Somebody who knows what your goal is, how to help you, how to guide you, how to make sure you're ready, right? And being ready.
And part of that is also navigating this whole thing of multiple offers. That if there's multiple offers on a property, you have to have somebody that really understands how to work that.
It's not all about the numbers, right?
Of course.
A lot of it's about relationships and things like that. So the part about it is having that real estate agent help you know your budget. And to me, that's really important. I think most home buyers start by looking for homes online and looking at properties that they think fit their price range. It's much better to get that great real estate professional like us in your corner, and then partner with that great local lender to go through it and go, here's my monthly comfort level of a home purchase. And what does that cover? Taxes, insurance, maybe maintenance, just electricity bills, things like that, so that you know that the full cost of home ownership and you have a real comfort level. So when you're looking at a certain price house, you know you are comfortable with that price. And maybe you're comfortable going much higher than that, but you'd like to stay here. But you know that you can raise it up at the last minute if you need to be competitive or something. So knowing your budget, knowing your expenses, how much you'd like to spend and how much you'd like to save to be able to still live the rest of your life, right? Not being house poor.
It's kind of like going to the auction and having your limit on, if you're going to bid on something, you
Yeah.
need to know, because that's kind of what we're dealing with these days.
It is.
It's an auction.
You can get caught up in that,
Oh, yeah.
being at an auction and
Yeah,
raising your
yeah,
hand
yeah.
because you're pot committed, right? That whole story of Annie Duke, the professional poker player.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought her story is great, or her book. You know, she talks about being pot committed, and it's like, well, I'm going to stay in on this poker hand because I've already got this much in it. I might as well keep going. And she's saying that's the mistake most amateurs make, is they keep playing when they should just take their losses.
When they know they've already lost.
They've
yeah.
lost.
Or they, yeah.
Don't
yeah.
try to bluff it to win it and keep putting more in and then lose it all, right? So it's sort of like,
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, when buying a house and knowing your comfort level so that you don't go outside of that if you need to. The other thing is to be ready to make an offer when you're out looking at houses. Tigo just said the average days on market was 10
for 250
and under. And what'd you say, 18 or something for all prices?
Yeah, for all prices.
Something
and
like
actually
that.
that's actually sped up a little bit. Yeah, I mean the good homes, and we always kind of say that term, right? Good homes. What's a good home? But a good home, I mean, what we're
it's
talking.
It's really a home priced for condition and location,
exactly.
Right? A good home that's a train wreck, that's as is and it needs a lot of work, is still a good home if it's priced for the condition
exactly.
and location, right? And that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
If you're not looking for an as is train wreck house, then that's a different story.
Remind me, I want to go back to that topic, but go ahead.
Okay. So be ready to make an offer. That means have that great real estate professional, have that great lender, have the market knowledge and the comfort that you know what it means when you make an offer. And when you find the right house, you're ready to move on it so that it doesn't get sold out from under you and you're constantly looking for that house again that might not come on the market in your time frame. And the last thing is to do your due diligence on the home you select. Sometimes we're in such a hurry, we get that house under contract and we might have to make some concessions and say, well, we'll take it as is. We won't ask you for any repairs or things like that. But doesn't mean you have to waive your right to do inspections, right? You still want to make sure, we go in a house and we feel it aesthetically and we look at it, but we don't really go and walk the roof and we don't necessarily know how well the furnace is working or the water heater or the big ticket items. So that's why a home inspection can be really helpful. So you can kind of budget if some of those mechanicals are towards the end of their life expectancy, you kind of have a better idea of what you're getting into, even if the seller isn't going to fix something.
Yeah. And we know people that have done offers with, saying basically we're going to put $5,000 non-refundable earnest deposit down. We're going to say we're not going to do inspections and we're not going to, ask for any repairs. And if we back out, you get the $5,000 or whatever it is, right? And okay, that's a strategy to win a house. But man, that's a scary strategy. I would never recommend that to anybody unless you're a very seasoned, investor that knows what you're dealing with.
Totally. And I was just going to add to that, Tigo, we have had people we've helped do that.
Mm-hmm.
But usually
I've done it myself.
Well, yeah, usually we have somebody like you who goes through with your spreadsheet, and it might be somebody's parent, somebody's friend who maybe is a builder or something. And they go through the house maybe at the same day that they fell in love with that house. We go back in again and they bring their trusted advisor who knows how much a roof costs and knows about HVAC systems or knows about furnaces or knows about windows.
But if you haven't priced a house or a roof on a house for 2 years, you better go check your numbers because it has changed drastically.
Everything has changed, Tigo. Everything. All the costs in a house.
Okay, sorry. And let's see. What was that? All of them? Was that all 4 of them? Okay, yeah. So no, I think we're coaching that with our people on our team, and as well as people on our team talking with the client that you really need. If you're serious about buying this spring, you got to be ready. Got to be ready to go.
This is Albuquerque Real Estate Talk with
yes.
Tracy and Tigo Venturi. You can reach us at 448-8888, and we'd be happy to talk with you, schedule time, go through things. We have a great team of people that are home selling specialists as well as working with home buyers, and love to just start the conversation.
When was that? Thursday. I had the opportunity to be the moderator of a panel of people teaching real estate agents about real estate investing, teaching real estate agents about working with real estate investors. That's a whole big world that we're not going to get into here in the next few minutes, but that is that's a real thing. It's happening a lot. There's a lot of people that we call the mom and pop real estate investors that maybe have a house that they moved and they just kept it and they've been renting it. There's a lot of that out there, and so many people use real estate as part of their wealth strategy.
Right.
And I mean, personally, I'm big advocate of it. Is it should be part of it, but there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of, how do I say it nicely? Okay, I won't say it nicely. A lot of snake oil salesmen in the real estate investing space that are selling training and
Going to teach you how to buy something with no money out of pocket.
Yeah.
And find this great deal, but
flip and make all this money and all that
really
stuff.
They're getting paid to teach you, but we're not seeing those people really successful.
The one thing I want to bring up on the show and just put out and share with you, and that you can share with people is that and you may have received a letter in the mail saying, we'll give you cash for your house, and that's fine. There's a lot of people that are making offers on houses, that are doing cash offers, don't use a realtor and blah blah blah. I don't want to get it too deep on this, but understand that there might be a better offer out there for you, and don't take that offer, the first offer that comes off. It may be the best offer, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of different places you can get a cash offer on a home. We have that as an option. I'm not really selling what we do. That's not what this is about. This is about protecting people that own properties that are taking cash offers when there might be they may be leaving money on the table.
Well, and a lot of people.
Did I say that diplomatically enough? I'm trying to be fair.
And a lot of people know they're leaving money on the table intentionally for the convenience.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. So there's some legitimacy. We're just saying there, might want to get more than one offer just to make sure that the one you have is the one you want to take.
So Arizona, Phoenix is kind of a hotbed of real estate investing, real estate stuff. And part of that, the reason Phoenix is so popular is that there's a lot of turnover, and there's a lot of homes that are very similar. So it's really easy to do market analysis in Phoenix, unlike Albuquerque, because we've much more diverse housing stock. Well, Phoenix market has really taken a hit in the last 6 months. A lot of those Phoenix, cash buyer people have moved into Albuquerque, and we're seeing a lot of it.
My phone's been ringing a lot.
Yes.
Because we own a few properties, they're getting our information.
And just know, if you're working with a realtor, somebody that has sworn to the code of ethics, the realtor code of ethics, you have an obligation to tell you, what the real value is based on the current market conditions. Of course, it can always vary based on, what's happening once you put it on the market, and there's always a range, but get a second opinion, even if you feel like you're embarrassed with the house. A lot of times we see people that end up taking on an estate, and they're dealing with an estate, and they're just embarrassed about the house, and they just take the first offer that comes along because the house is in really bad condition. But get over that.
Right.
Don't leave money on the table. So
Yep.
If you're interested in a cash offer, call us. We've got great resources, and it's not just one. We've got multiple resources we can go out to get you a cash offer on your home.
And just to clarify, so you might have a house in perfect condition that's going to sell on the open market beautifully. It may not make sense to take a cash offer unless you have circumstances that make it desirable for you for that trade-off.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's a good point, Tracy.
Okay.
I think that's it. We're Tigo and
Tracy,
the amazing Tracy Venturi with the Venturi Group of Keller Williams. We're at 505-448-8888 or welcomehomeabq.com.
Call us if you have questions or anything you want us to talk about on our next show.
Awesome. Thanks for watching, and have a great weekend.